Let me tell you a story. So I'm there playing Team Fortress 2, running around, shooting some enemies, trying to push the cart, until I stumble upon a teammate of mine, a heavy. He's crouching in the corner with a sandwich out, spamming the dispenser command. Meanwhile, the cart is rolling back and there's no one to push it. There's a soldier trying to market garden people, there's a pyro shark in the water, and an engineer rancher relaxing 30 feet above ground. So I get upset because they aren't helping my team win, and because of that I complain about it in chat. But when I do that, I just get the following response. Oh, it's a public server, who cares, they can do whatever they want. That was not the specific scenario, it was just a mix of all the things I've experienced over the years, and I've heard that response quite a lot, not always in these exact words, but in essence it was about the same. I have a couple of problems with that, because I don't think you should do whatever you like at all times, nor do I think it's acceptable behavior. But apparently, I seem to be one of the very few people that actually do get annoyed by these things, so seeing how this is gonna be a very controversial video, let me just do the intro really quickly. Hey guys, German here. You may think you're playing Team Fortress 2 correctly, but you're actually not. So I'm here to tell you exactly what you're doing wrong, and also the sunken cost fallacy and negativity bias. Right, after I got that out of the way, let me explain what I mean.
This is an insult to our intelligence. Shut your mouth!
The first thing. If you don't want to play the game seriously, then why don't you just play with bots instead? This isn't really a big issue, it's just something I don't really get. I can understand that people who go friendly hoovy do it because other people might join in or spare them, and bots won't ever do that. It's just role-playing. But what about market gardening or going mittens heavy? In those cases, it makes absolutely no difference if you play with bots or not. Is it just not fun if you aren't going up against actual humans? But why? Is it the reactions? But what about if people don't react? Is that still fun? I mean, if you're just trying to train your skills, like for example with a market gardener, then playing with bots makes even more sense, because that way you can always set the difficulty and you will always go up against enemies that are the skill level that you want. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to prove my own skills against enemy players. I want to see if I'm better than the unusual wearing demo on the other team. And I also want to see my team kick his team's butt to show that we are just better. But unlike humans, bots just can't improve, they'll always stay the same and remain predictable, but some humans can be more skilled than others. So winning against that same demo shows that at least in that moment I was better than him. Better than someone who started out exactly the same as me, but since I developed my skills more, I was able to emerge victorious. And that is just not something that you can have with bots, because when you boil it down, bots are only doing what they're being told, so if you win against them, they are just letting you win. Which is completely fine for training, but you have to agree that playing against a pitching machine is just not as satisfying as winning against a baseball player. So is that the reason? You also want to prove your market gardener skills against players? But they aren't doing the same, they're just trying to win the game while you try to mess around. I honestly don't get it. My second issue. What can and can't you do in pubs? Like, where are the limits? Oh, you can do anything, the strawman might say. Even market gardening, going hoovy or building on nest, are those fine? Yes. Okay, then what about griefing or going AFK? No, those hurt the team. Okay, but so does going hoovy, because you aren't contributing to your team. I bet that a lot of you would disagree with some of the things I've listed there, or even with all of them, or none of them at all. I certainly wouldn't allow AFK people or friendlies, but other people might think those are okay. But who gets to decide what you can and can't do? Is it me? Is it you? The majority of players on the server? I mean, people come and go, each with their own opinions and views. There's just no objective list of what's allowed and what isn't, except for cheating and griefing, because that behavior is against the rules of the game and you can get kicked and banned for it. After all, it harms the fun of players. Being AFK is another thing, you can get kicked automatically for that, but what about friendlies? I mean, TF2 is a shooter and it's about killing enemies, but friendlies don't do that, they don't play the game properly and they are essentially AFK. You can see how that's confusing, right? Even contradictive. So if we just went by the game's rules, then anything goes, even things you don't really like yourself, like your medic übercharging an enemy spy and killing your own team. I'm not saying that it's good behavior, just that it goes both ways. If you think messing around is acceptable, then so is toxic behavior. And if you disagree with that, then you're being kind of hypocritical, because there just aren't any objective rules for what behavior is allowed and what isn't. And this brings me to my third and last subject. If you can do everything you want, then why am I being punished for trying to play the game properly? We've established that you can do anything you want in pubs and you won't suffer any consequences for it, unless you're actively cheating or are going AFK. But here's my biggest issue. If you can do everything you want, then why am I being punished for wanting to win? When I tell my teammate to please stop going sandwich hoovy for a second so we can push the card or capture the point, then why do they tell me that I should just get over it because it's a pub? You don't need a team for market gardening or for going Überchain medic. But if I want to win the match, then I need people to help me, as it's a team game. It's right there in the title, Team Fortress 2. So I'm being punished for playing the game as it was intended to be played, but meanwhile the engineer rancher relaxing in the air gets no repercussions for essentially being AFK. And I honestly don't see the logic in that. If you can do anything you like, even things you shouldn't be doing, then why am I being punished for something that I should be doing? And don't tell me to play competitive mode if I want actual team play, because there are so many issues with that statement. First of all, the competitive mode that is currently in the game is a joke. It's filled with cheaters, abandoners, and even the same people I've been talking about in the video. The only thing it doesn't have are actual people playing it. But even if you decide to play the community's version of comp, that one still has class limits and player limits, and I don't want to play with just 6 people on my team. 9 people is alright, but even then you have class limits, which in return means that I can play whoever I like. And yet another problem I have with competitive are weapon bans, and those get changed now and then. So if you have a favorite weapon, for example, you might not even be able to use it at all. Alright, I'm sorry, this was not supposed to turn into a let's bash on competitive video. Competitive mode is fine, except for the one in the game, I just don't like it a lot, and it's definitely not an alternative.
I'm the invincible, undefeated champ on Mount Zion's my.
I don't even mind when people mess around in TF2, I do it too sometimes, it just really bothers me when it's hurting the team. If your team is stomping the other one, then whatever you do doesn't really change much. But if you are on the losing team, then a friendly player is essentially a wasted slot, which could be easily filled by someone that actually does want to play the game. So the next time you're crouching in the corner spamming Putis, please ask yourself this. Should I really be doing this, or am I just ruining the fun of my teammates? And if you don't care about that, sure, but that's really egotistical, so don't be surprised if you get killed or even kicked. Because this is Team Fortress 2 and not Friendliness Simulator 2. You're supposed to help and support your team, and if you don't do that and instead just care about yourself, you ain't playing the game correctly. And if you're a friendly and you get killed or kicked, you don't get to complain because it's not everyone else who's wrong, it is you. And also, isn't the fun in being friendly to see if enemies are nice enough not to kill you? Like it's something forbidden, and if they don't do it, that's the fun? And let's not forget that there are many servers that even encourage such behavior, like Hightower servers that are all about market gardening, or role-playing and trade servers. On those, the objective is usually disabled, encouraging you to do whatever you want. Since I actually care about doing the objective, I just don't go to the servers. But if you don't care about doing the objective, then please consider playing on them instead of potentially annoying other players on regular servers. That being said, I don't hate those players. I dislike their behavior, but I don't hate them as people, and I definitely don't think they should be treated badly because of their behavior. TF2 is a very, for the lack of a better word, random game, where you can do basically whatever you want, but the focus is still on killing and winning as a team. So while it's not bad to mess around, it can be if you let it get too far. Just like how you can let wanting to win go too far, which is when you turn into a tryhard who doesn't care about having fun and only cares about winning. So please, do it in moderation, which to be honest is something I should do a lot more when it comes to these videos, because I feel like I've repeated and over-explained myself way too much in this video. So let me just cut this short. Messing around is fine. Making your team lose because of it isn't. The main game is still about winning with your team, and if you don't care about that, then please consider going on other servers. But that concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please tell me your criticism and opinions below. I usually try to read them, so let me know what you think and how I can improve my videos. And also, please play my Undertale x TF2 fan game Overtime. The link for the trailer is in the description. But anyway, have a very wonderful day and goodbye!